Hi, it's me. Welcome to the stream. I had to just rush over to get my quote-unquote tissues because I left them over on my bed accidentally. But they're here now, so they'll be here for the duration of the stream in case I need those because my nose is terrible. And I can talk about that later, about developments regarding that, if I so desire. But going to hopefully see somebody about that soon. That is the plans. But anywho, we're doing Style Savvy today again. Last time around we technically, by all accounts, beat the main game. But we still have things to do. We still have a whole other section. Whole new. We're basically halfway through the game. In a strange turn of events similar to how Super Mario Odyssey works, we're in about halfway through the game. Hopefully the music is not too... The game is not too loud or quiet. Oh, cars. Oh, excuse me, yawning. Yeah, I was, prior to just now, when I was listening to the song, I was remembering, like, that's probably another game I should play at some point on stream. Mario 3. Because, for that game in particular, I've mentioned before that I have fond memories of playing it, growing up, on the Wii, not the NES, because we had Virtual Console, and that's how old I am. Did I not look at these last time? I guess I did not. Fair enough. I thought I at least looked at that. Yeah, the elite contests, we're still doing those. Yada yada yada, blah blah blah. New people at the place, that's great. Yeah, we have a lot more to get through with this game. That much is for sure. And we should still be in the January portion of the game. I don't actually know what's in my store right now. And I don't know what I need specifically, which is bad. I mean, I might as well get a couple of... Excuse me, the game didn't give me the option to go to the high-end store today, so that's fun. We can at least get some stuff from Ubercloth. Hooray. Because those are helpful in pretty much any scenario. Yeah, we still have a bunch of this game left to go. We're at aprox the halfway mark. It's not quite halfway, but it's close enough that it's that's what really matters. Getting some of these. Alright, we're good to go. And then, like, get 3 of those. We don't need multiple of those. We do need multiple of these. That would be nice to have. These, get 2 of these because they're on sale. I'll just keep it to 1. Because it's not that expensive, it makes it easier to buy bulk of. I hope y'all are having a nice Friday afternoon. Already my nose is being a nuisance, so that's great. I mean, I can look in the Jade, see what they got going on today. We have the staff, welcome back. Welcome back, welcome back. Anything that I can actually afford to buy. I mean, we got some nice shirts. But I really, like, get worried about buying literally anything here because they're so expensive. Like this, what am I gonna do with that? What am I gonna do with that, huh? I will buy that simply because it's half off. That's what that thing means. So I can at least buy one of those. Oh my god. I literally have, like, none of these clothes in stock because they're so expensive. But the freaking expensive people keep coming in, so I gotta get at least some. Nice jacket. The funny pants. Might as well. Skip out on that. I do enjoy the long... In case you haven't noticed, I do enjoy the longer dresses. Those ones are fun, for sure. That one's not expensive, so that's fine to get. Get the jumpsuit. Let's get a couple shirts. Just a couple. We won't get this one. Not just yet. Funny hat. Might as well, I guess. Headband, I do enjoy that headband. I remember using that a lot when I played this game before. Look at the hat too. Alright, we're running low. So we can't get that. We are definitely not getting literally any of the jewelry. I keep thinking I can scroll with my mouse, but I can't because this is a touchscreen game. Fine. Shoes? What are we looking at shoes wise? Yeah, those are gonna be expensive as all get out. These ones? Yeah. Let's get rid of at least one thing. I think we don't need this hat. Let's remove that hat, and I think get 2 of these leggings for just in case purposes, and 2 of these headbands, and I think we're good to go. God, that was so much money. I hate how the economy works in this game. I hate it so much sometimes. I could go to here, but I have no reason to go there because I probably can't even buy a purse. Oh my god, I'm yawning way too much. My sleep deprivation is not helping. And this certainly won't help when I get back to school in like a week and a half. Less than a week and a half. Oh my god, I completely forgot to check. I have a thing I do I mentioned this, I think last stream I did, not of this game, but just in general, that I have a thing I do every Tuesday and Friday where I check the whatchamacallit, where is it? Do you like this video game song? So I will leave that on my phone for after the stream so that I remember to do it. Anywho. Oh. Avery? Yeah, Avery's here. Hello, Junko, I need some help. I'm looking for a man. Or, no, not like that. He's just a guy. He's got short red hair and, he's the one who sorts out all the makeup for our models. But he hasn't turned up for work since yesterday and I just can't get a hold of him. He was talking about wandering around the city and testing his skills or something like that. Maybe I better see if I can dig up any, of his fellow artistes around here. I'll find out if they can't lend a hand. Where do you go off to, Joss? Joss. I guess he's at the hair salon? Do you see that man behind me? He seems strange. I'm feeling a little disconcerted. I don't believe he's a client, but he's been here for quite a while. He's up to something. Forget my lingering, I couldn't help but overhearing. Let me explain myself. My name is Joss. I'm a spy with the Secret Service here on a top secret investigation. Cool. I'm totally joking. It's a joke. Get it? The Secret Service. Man, that was a good one. I'm actually here because I heard that this place is home to the best hairstylists. I came to work here. What do you think of that? Bet you're pretty excited to have a mysterious spy cutting your hair. Still joking. I'm not really a spy. Although I guess a spy would say that too. Can't wait to start the job though. Do we get a say in this? Please tell me this isn't our new hairstyles. No. The new hairstylist Joss has started working at the hair salon. Wow. So he does alternative and gothic styles. Wow, that's neat. I will not be using him, but that's interesting indeed. Goodbye, ma'am. I just wanted to get people's clothes going. Today we have some fruit punch sparkling ice as our drink of choice, as well as some water. What? What's happening? The amusement park. I'm not the hugest fan of, fruit punch, and I think that might be because there's orange involved in it, but it's fine otherwise. Reminds me of drinking high C at my great-grandmother's house as a kid. Yes, you have to go on the merry-go-round. What? You can't be serious. Oh, you don't want to? It's just that, aren't we a bit too old for the merry-go-round? You're never too old for the merry-go-round. You know what they say? Act your shoe size, not your age. Wait, what? Doesn't even... whatever. Yeah, woohoo, yay, that was so incredibly awesome! Sorry, I'm not in the mood to put my all into it, sorry. What do you think, Livia? It was not too bad? Really? That's all? Nah, you've got to be holding back. Alright, so maybe I thought it was a little more fun than I thought. Or a lot more fun. Maybe. Yeah, I know it! Even you've got to admit the amusement park is the best. I do have one small favor to ask you, though. Which is... Can we ride again? Of course, as many times as you like. I sound like I'm getting sick. I don't think I'm getting sick, but I don't know. I have no way of knowing that. Because I'm constantly sniffly, sneezy, so... New person. Other new person, but wants fancy stuff. Like, I did just buy it, but I'd rather keep it for a little bit while longer instead of just one day. Alicia Keys, hello! Sorry to just spring this on you, but do you have any nice hats? Did I tell you that I'm part of a dance team? Handstand move, can your hats go a little smoother? Just tried my last one, it takes practice, can you find a replacement for me? I'm sure I've seen that particular one time and time again. Do I actually have any, sporty hats at the moment? I don't. Cool. I don't have any sporty hats. I'm gonna go buy some sporty hats. Like at least two. At least two different sporty hats. I cannot buy any sporty hats. Great. Oh, this game. Oh, this game. Oh, this game. No, I'm not talking to you. I can talk to you, though. No, you seem like you're also a very expensive type of guy, which is concerning. He actually enjoys the huge task of helping his friends move. The car is really cool. 27-inch alloys, front spoiler, neon lights. Thing is, the heater is totally busted. Those sure are words you're saying. Neon lights, stupid stuff. So my car isn't hot enough, especially in this season. I went to the shop to get stuff fixed and get my transportation figured out. They told me if I sold it to them, they could give me just about enough for the bus home. Yeah, negotiations were a tad difficult after that. Anyway, that's not important. What's important is looking cool in this heat. In this heat? Got any bold outerwear? Yeah? What do you mean in this heat? What are you talking about? It's the middle of winter, my guy. Aw, yeah, baby. Give him the most expensive jackets because I really just want more money. I just want more money. That works. It is incredibly bold, and my god, I would not be caught dead wearing that. My mom tried to get me to wear a shirt of hers that was a little bit small on her, and she didn't realize until leaving that it was small, but it was like, the colors are kind of like this, and it felt a little bit too clashing to me, specifically. Like, I don't, like, actually wear stuff that really matchy-matchies, or anything like that. But I feel like if the top is that particularly bold, that's just a bit too much for me. I can only do so much patterns and colors. Like, that looks god-awful to me. But that's just how it is sometimes. Anywho. Thank you very much. With this on, it'll be no heat, no problem for a while to come. Or anybody else new? I'm not talking to you. So, let's see here. Let's talk to you instead. Hello. That outfit really suits you. You really captures the flirty look. I wonder if that would look good on me too. What do you think? I'm not sure. I should try it on if I want to find out, I guess. You want to look flirty, huh? Alright. Apparently the kids don't like it when I give them the bikini top underneath stuff, so I gotta change that up. So that's cool. I am of the more conservative mind of dressing in general, so like stuff like this is just a little too much for me. Just a little bit too much. We have 0 pants. That's so great. That's so great. Oh, that's fantastic. Okay. Doo-doo. Doo-doo-doo. Doo-doo-doo. Doo-doo-doo-doo. Doo-doo-doo-doo. Auto mode actually caught a bot for once. That's crazy. That doesn't usually happen. I need flirty not outfits. Lots of these outerwears. Need more of these. That's what I need. Boots. Aw, geez, what is too expensive? That's too expensive? You're kidding me. Okay, well. Okay. Okay, these ones are that. Okay, yeah, no, we have to go with the pumps. But we could do this and then get rid of... This really sucks. This sucks a lot. Oh, we have to just rethink the entire outfit, don't we? That's so great. I love having to rethink the entirety of the goddamn outfit. Remove all. It has to go with this, which means we have to be conscious of our budget at all times, which is unfortunate. But this is already too much. And attempting to put a dress on that is too much as well. If we get these... and a pair of shoes... I'm losing my mind. Cool. Like I've got nothing. I really do just have nothing here. I'll do this, but I'm not very happy about it. I don't think the flirty place is open though. Hopefully your thighs don't get too cold. Alright, here we go. Everything sold out. Yay! What a fun experience. I love flirty fashions, don't you? It's always important to challenge yourself every now and then. Thanks for the outfit. I can't wait to wear it. Going to the buyer center again. Okay. That's great and all. I need some of these now. Now. Red. And then these, I guess, because there's not really much else I can get. Great. Okay, that's a bit helpful. This. These. This. That. These. And that, I guess. Boots, 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 boots. Okay. I think there's enough stuff. Multiples of the boots. Multiples of these. Multiples of these. And these. Get at least multiples of those. That's a lot of money! Oy. Well, that sucks. I will do one more before going to the contest hall. Oh, yawning, hello. She's been here all day. Oh, okay, we're going to you first because you've been here all day. You know, the international contest? A friend of that, I heard that Emmy Lou is putting a lot of effort into winning it. Finishing as a runner-up is hard enough, being the outright winner is really tough. When I was in school, I always used to come in second in track and field events. I could never seem to manage first place. I feel a little sad just thinking about it. I should buy something to cheer myself up. Can you pick out a pop cute bag for me, please? No! That's how Dr. Eggman sounded, right? Oh, that's cute. We're gonna push your budget. Actually, no, that's a little spark one. We can't do that. Take this then. Boop, boop, boop. Boop, boop, boop. Hooray! And you're carrying it out despite the fact that it doesn't really match, but neither do your pinks, so that's fine. So good, you're actually scary. Looking at this bag completely lifted my spirits. It almost makes me forget all about those track and field events. Thanks! No, thank you, kind citizen, for shopping at my funny store that I forget the name of. Because I don't think this one is Limitless Sky. That's what I've named all of my Style Savvy stores, for my original playthroughs. And it is in fact the name of the store that I put for, my Animal Crossing New Horizons DLC, store. And there's that. Good to see your face. Make contest. We gotta get through this. A bold look for a powerful one. A powerful woman. Strong. Feminine. Sophisticated. Alright, let's see. We did do... No, we didn't do Pippa. Okay, bold. Let's go Dawn. You should pick me because I never stop smiling. My smile will light up the runway and win the contest. Alright. Timeless cool. A bold look for a powerful woman. We gotta make it bold. But I want to make it a little bit feminine as well. Just to get the point across that she's powerful. Cause like the feminine type of clothing is very, business professional looking. I think putting that out there is also good to put down. God bless us, we have 0, like, button-up shirts. That's great. That's exactly what I wanted. Oy, oy. I mean, that's funny, but let's not do that. Fun, but not what we're looking for. I did see a white jacket in there. Yeah. If we put this on with this, how does that look? Looks a little bit funky. It looks a little bit weird having that particular jacket on. Oh, the jade could work. That's fun. No. And then put this on a layer above instead. I want to make sure I get some of that, the color that's in her shirt, the orange in there as well, but I don't think it's probably not going to be very easy to do so. Skirts. Oh. Oh. Maybe. What's the dress situation looking like? I mean... I do like the pinstripe. I do like that a lot. I do enjoy the pinstripe. And then, oh! And then we can bring back the blue in the shoes. Potentially. Potentially being the keyword here. Okay. There's not a whole lot of blue shoes options. Can do the orange though. Bring back the orange there. Do we have a blue bag perhaps? No. God forbid. Ah! God forbid we get matching things. Oh. Funny do. I think that's how it goes. Maybe. I've thrown in a lot of patterns here. This is not good. Change that to something else because that don't look right. But I don't think I have anything like... No, I have that, but that's still the patterns. That's still the spotted patterns there. And that's a little too red. And go with these. Subtle things around here. Oh, that could work. Oh, that's very good actually. How I'm feeling about the bag. I'm not feeling too good about the bag, but I feel like if I leave it without the bag, then it looks a little incomplete. I don't know how I feel about the hat either. Is that one okay to match? That could work instead. Because it matches the stripes as well. Zebra striped. Let's go for it. This might not be great. This ain't the best. I'm gonna admit that freely right now. It's not the best. But it's what we have tonight. It's what we have on offer. We got new hairstyles. Baby pigtails. Maybe this? Oh, that's real good actually. I like that a lot. We got this as well. That's fun. Oh, we have new colors! Hooray! Let's go orange, and then let me take a look at the... Is that all the colors? No, we have more colors. We got more purples. And that's about it. We're gonna go with one of these. I think this one's good. Red fox. And then of course the makeup. Gotta make sure that's also matching. I'm gonna go with this one. Yeah, that's good. Alright, here we go. This ain't gonna go well. I know it's not gonna go well. Hello, MC mode. Yeah, there hasn't been a whole lot going on with me since my last stream. All things considering. Fascinating. I mean, the most that I've been doing has been a lot of playing multiplayer games because that's what the streamer that I watch every night at 9 o'clock in the evening my time plays. What is happening here exactly? There are a lot of things happening here. And there's me! Nice. Probably gonna get second place instead. Oh my gosh, we won! Hooray! Somehow it worked. Yippee! Yippee! Alright. Cool. Yeah, I went 4 days this past weekend playing... No, not this past weekend, last week. Playing multiplayer games every single day because that's what... Because there was the Splatfest going on, there was the testing thing for Rift Fishing, which is basically the spiritual successor to Web Fishing if you played that game. And then the streamer I was watching, the streamer I consistently watch also was playing Mario Kart World as well as Splatoon 2. And now the Animal Crossing update has come out. He's now playing that as well as Splatoon 2 and also Mario Kart World. So I've just been doing a lot of stuff in the evening because that's like the most social I tend to be while I don't have anything else going on in my life. Hi, Tegan. I'll feel sorry for the other stylists. Where will you go from here, Space? You'll be the most fashionable person in the universe. Ain't that cute? But it's wrong. We're not going to the hotel. Back to the shop we go. Nobody knew. We'll start with you then, Miss Hazel. I'm back! Teak is my new favorite place. I've been telling all my friends about it. When I get excited about something, I can't stop talking about it to everyone. Could you pick some clothes up for me again, please? I need a new outfit. You know my taste, right? Maybe. My guess, based on this outfit solely, is girly. But I could be wrong. And I can't wait to be exactly wrong. Let me take a look at... might not be girly, it might be flirty. I really hope it's not flirty or bold. I'm not in the mood for that right now. Oh, these are lovely sweaters. Look at these. Fanciful. Anywho, as I was saying, because the streamer that I consistently watch at 9 o'clock in the evening has been playing a bunch of multiplayer games, and that's pretty much the only time that I have that I'm social outside of my family, I've been doing that a lot, and it's been taking some energy out. I can only do so many different things with people for so long. I only have so much energy in the day. Alright, well, if we're doing that, then the jacket's gotta be different. The green one instead? Well, then that kind of clashes. That one, maybe? That doesn't clash as... It still clashes a bit, but not as badly. And if this isn't the one, then, whoops. Whoops! Cute little shoes, yellow there. Green hat? Or this? That's fun. Wait. Okay, we're still under budget. Alright, it's... I don't know. We're gonna try bold. See if that's the one. We're gonna try it. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. Who let all these boots be this expensive? Who said that this could be possible? In part by you. Who said? White. That could work. Kinda coy. That's a little bit too much. Oh, the purple one maybe? There's no purple in there. That doesn't help. This jacket maybe? Ooh, that's fun. That's fun. I like that actually. Is this what you like? Okay, it's bold. Thank you. There's like 3 pieces of clothing and I could not tell. That's nice, that's cute. It could be far worse. Yeah, that's what I've been doing lately, has been a lot of playing games with other people as my social activity because I otherwise struggle. And I keep thinking about this one post that my mom showed me. I can actually pull it up. It's still on my phone because I have like 300 plus tabs on there. Whoa! Accidentally made my task manager too big. I look great, right? Best day ever. I'll definitely be back again. Ain't that fun. New person. Hello. Something about sushi. I'm sorry. Oliver. Oliver. Good evening. I saw you work at the contest, so you're the elite contest winner. Congratulations. You must be very proud. I think you still got time to design outfits for little people these days. I'm only teasing, but I would love one. I am going to say that it is a preppy one based solely on the plaid pants. A little bit on the plaid pants, a little bit on the button up, but it's a little bit hard to tell. Alright, where is it? Psychology. There it is. Psychology says people who are genuinely nice but have 0 close friends often display these 7 traits. Which, I pretty much display all of them. And it was a lot of, distance. Like, a lot of distance sorts of things. Like, one of the things that really stood out to me is like, oh, people will be fine, like, these people will be fine sharing, like, their life stories and stuff. But then when you try to get really close and try to hone in on the whole issue, it's far harder for them to be like, I'm willing to talk about this with you, which is a concerning aspect of my life for sure. Oh, I have 0 jackets. Cool. Alright. Please don't freeze to death if I give you these outfits. That's fun. That's almost too expensive. Great. Why is all of the stuff that I need for this style in the most expensive categories? I hate this. Blue. Okay. Can I give you the glasses as well? I can give you the glasses. I can't give you the glasses. I can give you the tie? Why is the tie $240? It's a tie! Who made this game? Is this okay, or is this too cold? It is not too cold, the sweater is just fine. Cool. Please don't freeze to death out there. I literally don't have anything that's academic that's less expensive. Department 9 won't open up for me! Well, Department 9 was open, I just didn't go there. I am out of shirts. This is the first time I wore an outfit like this. It feels fantastic. It's like I've discovered a new me or something. Who'd have thought fashion had this much to offer in life? Thanks for showing me something new. You're welcome, kind citizen. Roger, Craig Smith. Congratulations on winning the elite contest. I've come today because I want to help you. That contest was too easy for you, way too easy. So see if you can design an outfit for me. Evil laughter. Okay, we're going bold again. Just reminded me that there's like a mode in this game, but only in the Japanese version, where you can like make your dream boyfriend or something like that. So you can actually like edit the boys in the character creator. You can't do that in this game. You can design boy outfits in the next game, but can't sell them. Like you get no profit for them in the next game, so that kind of sucks, but here we are. Wow, those are some pants. I mean, if the man likes them. I just really like this particular jacket. I don't know what it is about it. It's just nice. It just seems nice. But if we have to, we will change it. That's fine by me. I don't really care. And then shoes. Don't have a lot of red stuff. That's great. Oh, the bottom of the pants are not the color I want them to be. That's cool. We'll change them then. Do 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 do. Ba ba da do. Keep bop beep da boo. Why does this scarf cost $100? Nobody wants a $100 coat. That's way too expensive. And once again, the ties are also extremely expensive for no reason whatsoever. Please tell me this isn't too cold. I'm losing my mind here, folks. Oh, thank God. Ah! Nearly lost my water and spilled it all over the place. That would have been bad. Ah, whoops, his hair is red, right? Oh, well, that's how hats work, sure. Finishing touches are great too, yay! Oh, I gotta go to Department 9 tomorrow, great. This is perfect, it's uncanny, I feel like you've read my mind. I should put on one of those foil hats when I come here. Or not. Anyways, thanks and good luck with the contests. It is now the next day. Yeah, other fun things I had to do this week involved figuring out why I wasn't getting the money for my, my bookstore stuff, and they just weren't, very fast on it. It was just all that was, apparently. It was coming, it just didn't come right away. But I have the money now, and now I have a design textbook that cost $150, but I got for $0 because of grant money and student loans and stuff. I do have to contend with student loans in like a year and a half, so that's gonna be great. We'll climb that hill when you get to it. Hey, what's going on? I heard you're working hard and harder these days. It seems like you're getting more and more popular all the time. Who knows when it'll stop? As you probably already figured out, you're in a tough industry. It's astounding how well you're doing. And now you're going to be in the next issue of Nuances. Don't get too thrilled ahead, but you're getting way more attention even more quickly than I imagined. You're an inspiration to all of us. I smell fame on you, Tiger. So I was wondering if you'd accept the gift. Want me to lend you some of my photo magical powers? I compose, really seeing a tiger. Say call it greens. Beautiful. See you around. I look forward to watching your fashion star rise. That's another game. Fashion forward and styling star. That's what it is. What? What do you want from me? It's the Joster. Don't give me a winky face. I hate you already. Don't do that. Don't try to sex me like that. Oh, that's cute. Why is it that expensive? It's the necklace itself that's really expensive and adding to it. Like the dress as well, sure, but definitely the necklace. What is wrong with you, ma'am? I can't buy that now. Listen up, kiddies. This gal's got everything you need to know about style. Insane behavior. Shh, I know. Shut up. Alright, let's go to the store. Right, it's Sunday, so Genevieve's here. Limited time offers. Jade has something special today. Why don't you stop by their shop? I could, but I'm going to not to. Right. They're all open on Sunday. Oy. Okay. Unlike in American stores, nothing's open on Sunday. Alright, let's go. I need more shorts. I'm losing it. Get this guy. I already have these pants. I will buy one. I will buy a singular pair. The blue, and then the acid wash jeans, or the bleach jeans, I guess, and the suspenders. We got gloves. We're good on gloves. I mean, that's a fun one. Get that hat and get this hat. Honey glasses, that'd be good. The scarf. Get the fun ties, that's good. We have enough necklaces, we're fine on necklaces. We're fine on socks. Screw it. New shoes. New boot goofing. These boots, that's fine. And then these ones? I like how they look. Alright, that's a lot, and I can't get doubles, I think. Not today, no. Maybe these ones. And pants. I definitely need more pants. Sunglasses? No. Hat? Yeah, the hat's fine to get a double of. That's fine. And then I'm gonna go the Aeronef, because that's got, fanciful stuff as well. It's got stuff that I need for I was gonna say British, scholarly looking fashions. Oi, 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 oi. Okay. We're fine, we're fine, we're fine, we're fine, we're fine. Ah! Press the button. That was not the button I wanted. Okay, get more shirts. More shirts for me. Wow, that certainly is something. I said certainly. I'm losing it. I'm losing my mind. We can't just buy all shirts. We need pants as well. I only have so much money. Glasses. This one. Definitely buy more than one pair of socks. Red and orangey. Get the brown ones. I don't think I'll be able to buy those boots. No. Look at the slip-ons, so let's see if we can buy another pair of pants and then one jacket. Literally just one jacket. One jacket that is less than $100. That would be nice. One jacket that is less than $100. Oh my god! What is wrong with this game? No, that's great. I love that. That's so good. Alright, now we have to sort out our cart. What is the most expensive thing in here? Aside from that. Shoes, gotcha. So, remove that. We're still over budget. We just can't get the coat today. We just cannot get the coat today. That sucks. That sucks. I should put a that sucks button. I did add a new Twitch points thing titled Mushroom. If anyone ever comes in and finds that, they'll be delighted to experience it. I say delighted. I have no clue how they'll feel about it. Okay, I think, yeah, that's about it. Alright, $6.08 left. Great! That's very much so. We have lost a budget. Okay, cool. Sunday. Is there anybody that's having a thing today? No. We're good to go back to the shop then. Cool. Alright. Fine, I'll talk to you. He believes dolphins built and sank the lost city of Atlantis. I watched that Atlantis movie once with the same people who I've been playing multiplayer games with lately in a Discord call. It was an interesting movie. I liked the whole sequence of like them trying to find a common language. That was fascinating. But at the same time, you know, it's not a realistic movie for obvious reasons. And it's from the early 2000s, so there's a little weird stuff going on when it comes to native people and native lands. But the overall message of like, hey, don't don't just come into somebody's house and take over their house is good. Then relevant Kylie to our current times. Excuse me. We get political here because I don't care. I don't care who comes after me at this point. If the FBI wants me, then cool. I'm very much so barely doing anything to help in any sort of situation whatsoever. Stacy, hello, my friend recommended this boutique to me. Boutique to me. Little Bo Peep. Apparently you know what makes a great outfit. I also heard you won the premiere contest. Yeah, that was a while ago. That's really something. It would be foolish of me to miss the chance to ask you to put together an outfit for me. I like a luxury... Leonian again. A luxury mature look. How has it been an hour already? What's happening? Do you think you put an outfit like that together for me? No problem. Alright. $5,000. We got this. I'm gonna lose so much of my luxury stuff right now. My luxury stuff. What do we got? What do we got? I'd like to do things mostly with stuff that I have multiple of. Oh, that could work. Doo-doo. That's fun. What do we have here? We have plenty of stuff here. Jumpsuits and dresses. What's the pants situation looking like? I mean, fun. We still have the hat. We have the hat that we just bought. Funny glasses. I think I want that instead. That'll be good. No, because that's a pop scarf. Singular necklace is funny. Let's do that. And then expensive boots, expensive boots, expensive boots. And then we don't really have any sort of bags. We have one bag. We have two bags. And then we have this, which also works with the Cantata Moto stuff. What? If I look at the glasses, I like how it fits, but it also is weird. Like if I put those boots on, it helps a bit, but those boots are also Cantata Moto. And these ones are more expensive. Oh, I like it better with these boots. God dang it. Alright. Alright. I would throw in the headband, but I think that's a little bit too much. Doo doo doo. Boop boop boop. I hate it when the luxury people come in here and chase after me. I only have so much money for my clothing, you know? I am but a middle-class citizen. Wow, she's not wearing it out. Amazing. Anywho. That was exactly what I asked for. My friend was right to recommend you. I'm flabbergasted. Thank you for your help today. See you next time. Never come back again, ever. Please. Please don't ever come back again. Alright, let's see if there's anybody new here. Okay, we're going to make a mannequin. Mannequin time! Men's this time around. What do we have? Taste. First off, contemporary. Probably the most. Basic. Preppy. Oh. Come on. Stop. Luxury. Bad. Very bad, actually. Boho chic. Asian inspired. I believe you can get yukatas for boys in this game, but I could be wrong. Bold. And then edgy. So we're gonna have to go with contemporary again. Again. Because God forbid that they have good amounts of clothes for any other style ever. Yeah, that's fine. We'll go with that. Doo-doo-doo. Don't really have any jackets that match, though. Or tops, rather. So that's great. That matches. That's pretty good. I like how that looks. Doo-doo. That's fun. I like that actually a lot. And then the motor on we can use as well. Or that. I think I like that more than the motor on one. And then the funny scarves. I just That looks like it's puke. It looks like it's a puke color. I don't like that at all. And then we got some shoes that we can use. We have plenty of shoes. On brown instead of the green. We have enough of those, that's fine. Can we see that? A tiny bit. We can see it a tiny bit. Let's go with... These ones? These ones. Screw it. Gloves? We could do gloves. Why are those ones more expensive? What's happening here? That's fine. Let's do that and change the hair. And the color as well. Cause it's a little hard to see. Oy. That works. I'm very tired. Oh, right away, huh? Oh, sorry, I must have spaced out. I was mesmerized by this outfit. It looks so perfect. It's exactly my style. That was why it's so contemporary and casual. I better buy it before someone else does. But before I do, could I try it on? I know I count on you. I'll try it on right away. Yeah, I've been playing around with Mix It Up lately, and king for another day. And I want to put more Mix It Up stuff, but I have to get the Twitch throwing stuff integrated in there, the tits. But that also cost me $15 to do, so it's gonna be a little bit until I get that sorted out. Not every day you happen across something as wonderful as this outfit. Today must be my lucky day. What will you have it displayed out there next time, I wonder? No. Mabel, Aaron, Steven. What's my money situation looking like? Do inventory control. My money situation is actually kind of good right now, so we can go out and buy some more stuff. Potentially. Go up to Aaron for a little bit more. Because it wouldn't let me buy the stupid jackets because they're $15 bajillion. Which is so cool. I love that so much. We'll buy a few of these. Not too many, but enough. What is happening with this one? We're gonna ignore that. Don't worry about that one, it's fine. Alright, we're not buying more than one of these jackets because God forbid. Ba-ba-ba-ba-do. Okay. So Shade has the faux fur stole, which is apparently a limited item. So I guess I'll buy it. Limited time item everyone will be dying to own. Quite the rare piece. Cool, I guess. I'll buy it. I won't necessarily be happy about it, but I'll buy it. Buying some leggings as well, just to make things easier for me. As well as the skirt. Is that it? Yeah, I don't care for the hats. I should have bought more than one leggings! Too late now. Cool. Yeah, not in this game, but in games following this one, they have an ability to check for your inventory while you're at the big store. While you're over here shopping. It's just not in this game at all, unfortunately. Cool. That sure is. Pieces of clothing that I do not care to buy right now. Right, the hats. I was gonna buy more hats. Because the dance people might come back again. Cool. Alright. Oh, those are fun. I like those mittens. Those are fun mittens. I enjoy them. We'll buy these as well, for just in case purposes. Anything else? Anything else? I mean, I just like the snowboarding. They're called trousers here, despite the fact this is an American localized game. I was thinking that was a lot more. I thought that was like $700 or something. I got scared for a moment there. We're fine though, we're fine. Back to the shop. Ladies, are you really gonna be here the whole entire goddamn day? You sure are. Oh! She thinks expensive moisturizers are better than store brands. Sometimes they are. Sometimes they aren't. It depends. Sometimes the store brand is better, in my opinion. But that's just me. Sometimes I really like the Aldi's brand of, like apple juice. Their chips are bad, if only because, you know, cheap labor, cheap supply. It's, tend to be that, like half of the chips are like overcooked, overdone. I don't really know what it is, but they're like brownish looking, and that's not what I'm after, no. Roxanne, put on your red lights. I was talking to Daphne, the girl who works at the Buyer Center. She said they sell limited time items every Sunday at the Buyer Center. I can never resist buying limited time products. But I think everybody just loves that kind of thing, right? Well, all this talk about products makes me want to do some shopping. This is why I attempt to not do that and instead go for whatchamacallit? Piracy. Let's see, can you find a hat that won't suit my style? Is it bold? Because that looks bold. That looks bold, but I could be wrong. We could be incorrect about all this. I have 2 hats. Please take my fedora. Cool, thanks. Roxanne! You don't have to put on the red light. Roxanne! It almost makes your outfit look less, more cohesive. And less disastrous. Who knew? This is my dream hat. When I step outside wearing this, I shall be the most stylish person in the city. Need to hurry so I can go and watch my friends turn green with envy. Bye! New person. He admits to watching and liking the cheesiest soap operas. Doesn't everybody? I don't. But my mom used to watch soap operas when I was a kid. She doesn't anymore. Instead, she watches, Scooby-Doo cartoons and Law and Order during the day when she's at home. Antonio Banderas. I'm looking for a new hat. Isn't everyone? Do you have any stuff that would go well with my current clothes? I think hats are one of those items that can be really important but are often overlooked. I put a hat on my Christmas wish list. I didn't get it, but it's entirely possible that that's the one present that my mom got that she has somewhere in the house and then has not found but refuses to look for because she hates me and she just doesn't like me. This is false information. She really loves me and she cares about me a lot, but I'm just a little bit upset that she has not found it and it's January 16th. So here we are. I'm materialistic to a fault, and that's a bad thing. Make sure something with a real bold feel to it, okay? I was going to go with the preppy style, but thank you for saying bold. That helps me a lot, actually. What do we have, actually? We have a few. We have a few. That one matches a little bit better. Let's go with that. Screw it, let's go with that. Because the rest of it is, you know, very monochromatic, so. Like, the pants are slightly brownish, but otherwise it's, you know, monochrome for the most part. Alright. Sick. Thank you so much for shopping. Have a nice day. Wow, this is very fashion forward. Style savvy fashion forward? No one seems to sell hats like this. I've been at my wit's end searching, but this boutique is keeping up with things, so it's great for me. Thanks a lot for this. I'm just drinking the entirety of this. It's half a liter. It's 17 fluid ounces, which is a weird. It's weird that it's not exactly a half a liter, and instead is 17 fluid ounces. Usually you would be like, it would be like 16, 18, 20, 22, like that sort of thing. But Sparkling Ice sells 17-liter bottles. Or 17 fluid ounce bottles, because that's normal. What a company. I spit so much when I talk. Like, you can hear it. Hello? The clock just ticked over. I got real confused for a second there. It's nighttime now. First time visitor. Alright, hang on. Okay, cool. She never has trouble deciding what to eat in restaurants. Cool, I guess. Cindy Lauper. You're so awesome. The world is your oyster. My sister is always saying that. I don't really get what she means when she says it, though. I mean, if you try hard, the world becomes an oyster? That's just crazy, right? Oh yeah, I came here to shop. I need a top that matches my pants. Okay. I'm trying to see that particular... Okay, yeah, that is definitely a girly thing. Let me reset that. She said she wants a top. Just give me 1 second. I want to see if this is also preppy. I just want to check. Is this also preppy? It is. I can't tell what her shoes are. Those are her shoes. They're also preppy. Okay, hang on. Hang on. Okay, she's going for preppy. Ladies and gentlemen, others. Got it. We're going preppy. Cool. We got tops. That's a cute one. That one's probably not gonna sell. But neither is this. Neither is these ones. Ever. Let's go with this. Oh, thank God. It's the giant coat that doesn't help. Like, if you got like a giant coat and then no like accessories with that coat, it's really hard for me to tell. I'm wearing it even more wow-tacular. Yeah, wow-tacular. That's a good question though about where the origin of the phrase "the world is your oyster" comes from. Like, what specifically about an oyster makes it available to you, I guess? I don't know. This is right on target. I love this top. Is there anything about clothes that you don't know? Far too much, honestly. Oh, speaking of awesome people, Emmylou's going for gold. Yep, she's got her eyes on the prize. Wait, I guess that makes you two rivals. Doesn't matter, you're both gonna do great. I'll try my best. What is it? No guarantees, though. Words are hard. My mind goes a mile a minute, and ever since I had COVID, it's been really bad at retaining information. But that also doesn't help that I have sleep deprivation, so that's good. I wish she'd change her top. I wish I hadn't given her that top. It sucks entirely. An elegant, flirty outfit with a bit of sass. Just a bit of sass. Alright. What do we got here? Let's go Candy. I promise to dedicate myself to working hard to make every single outfit look as banging as possible. This is banging. It's paint, a-hole. Cultured and cute. An elegant, flirty outfit with a bit of sass. Doo-doo. Doo-doo-doo-doo. Doo-doo. Doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo. I could keep that hairstyle, but I don't feel like doing that. Flirty! Yay! Yeah, but Flirty never came back after this particular game. Sporty came back for the next game, but then it left in the final game, so... They combined some of those styles and outfits into other categories. What are we looking at? Let me take a look at the dresses again. I like this top a lot. I do like it a lot. That one is really weird with her skin tone, so we're not gonna use it. And then of course we have like 0 pants, so I'm fine with going with that skirt. I feel like that's fair enough, or like this skirt maybe. That one's good. Let's go with this, and then something else on the bottom. These. That's pretty good as well. Hopefully it's not too messy. It feels a little bit messy, but it's... I don't know. It feels a little messy, which sucks. That's pretty good. Pop a red color there. So that might mean, yep, okay, yep. This instead? I think I like the clutch better. Or this. Ooh. Ooh, that's real good actually. I like that a lot. Alright. Let's see if because I want to change the hairstyle, but also I don't know. There's the little teeny tiny pigtails I could do. Where are they? There they are! Yeah, that's very fun. Let's do those. And then I'm fine with that being the main color. I just want to change the highlights. Oh, that's fun. That's very fun, actually. And then the makeup. Hello. My mom was asking me if I was streaming, which I, obviously am. I like the big ones. I like having it be full. Alright. See if this goes okay. Let's do it. Hello, MC mode. Oh, how dare you have the same exact stuff as me? How dare you? I mean, we'll buy it all, but... And I can't buy that because she's gone fully academic. We can buy these though, because they're not that expensive. And then there's me! All that is just a shirt. Gotcha. I got a notification on Blue Sky, and it might be a notification I'll feel guilty about muting the account about. Oh no, I guess they got deleted. Cool. That's fantastic as well. Great. Now I feel even more guilty. He did it! I did it! Bomberman voice. What a game that has music. Bomberman 64. I think that's the game. Bomberman 64. Or Super Bomberman 64, something like that. Yeah, it's the one that goes... There's something like... There's something very interesting about like the late 90s and early 2000s video game music. I don't know what it is. Like, it's not even that I'm nostalgic for it, because a lot of that music I didn't listen to as a kid, so... But there's something that's very interesting about it. Well, I guess I played a lot of Kirby 64 as a kid, so... Oh! Who knows? I will admit that, just be proud. Amazing. Sleep in the contest. Revolutionizing how the city thinks about fashion. I will admit that I do get a little bit bored of this game at times, just because it's a lot. There's a lot that I'm doing, you know? Hello! Haven't been back here yet, apparently, in a while. What do we even have in terms of the Teatro Mare stuff? What do we got? Because we have quite a few things from just winning the contests. Nope. Nope. Okay. Okay, we don't have the skirt for that. Huh. Move all. I think I do have a full outfit, but not the full outfit that I'm necessarily looking for. But a full outfit, yes. This... These are work gloves, not wedding gloves. But they don't really fit with this outfit, so... Okay, there we go. Flight attendant. So I guess I can put that on top. There we go. Now, unfortunately, can't really see the pigtails there, so I would have to change the hair. I'm just adjusting things as I go. Do I have black? I do have fully black. To make it a little bit brighter, just a little bit brighter. Bright red shiny lipstick, or just regular red. Don't really have a dark... No, we do have a dark shiny lipstick, that's good. And then of course, that one. Nice. And yeah, the hair salon's closed. We will do a singular one. She wants to be a hip-hop dance choreographer for TV. Sharon. That's my mom's name. Good evening. You have a really good eye for what goes together. I love girly outfits, but I just can't get it right when I try to choose for myself. That's why I was hoping you could help me choose an outfit. Remember, it has to be a girly outfit. I can't help you there, mate. I can't. I'm sorry. You're gonna have to come back later. You're gonna have to come back never. And find yourself a new girlfriend. Do 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 do. What do we have, actually? Oh, that's such a lovely dress. That's fun. Nope. Okay. Okay. Those aren't matching greens. Uh-oh. That works though. That's fine. And then we can put on something below that. Oh, that's fun. Not the correct color though. That could work though. That could work. No, I can't put green on the top. Brown maybe? Is that the same color brown? It's not. It's more of a yellow. Ba-do-do. 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 Ba-do-do-do-do. Little red pumps. Little red pumps. Little red pumps for the little red girl. Oh, that's cute. Look at that. Thoughts on this? It's not orange, but that's okay. It doesn't have to be. Oh, what does it remind me of? What is this reminding me of? Oh, the one of the gym leaders, like, Gen 2? Either Gen 2 or Gen 4. Like, the grass type gym leader in that game. That's what it reminds me of. I accidentally made that. That wasn't my intention. I wasn't even thinking about the hair color, but like, now that I'm looking at it, like, because she's got like the green poncho and then like the short bobby brown hair color. The bob with the brown hair color, and what is her name and what generation is she? I'm saying it's either 2 or 4 because I'm thinking of like Soul Silver, Heart Gold, and then also Platinum. We have I think it's Heart Gold. I think my brother has Heart Gold. No, he has Gold, but then he also has Soul Silver. So I think she's a Gen 2 gym leader. So very happy with this girly style. Thank you. You've helped me out today more than you can imagine. I'll have to up my game if I want to be as good as you, though. See you tomorrow. Or see you, rather. Excuse me. His reading interferes with his attempts at a social life. Woof. Woof there, buddy. I think the girly outfit really suits you. I wish I had your sense of fashion. My taste in clothes is really bad. It's girly? Could you put together an outfit that suits me? I can try. I'm going to assume contemporary, but I don't know. Let's take a look at the jackets and see if that's one of the jackets that we have. Okay, hang on. I don't have a jacket like that currently. That doesn't help. The shoes, I have something like though. These in particular are in fact contemporary, I think. So we'll go with contemporary, but I'm a little bit concerned. That's gonna bother me so much, so I have to look at... Her name's not Viola, because Viola's the bug leader in Generation 6. Let's like something like that. Okay, grass gym leaders. Hang on. This is gonna bug me so much if I don't. Terminology in the core series. This does not show me list of gym leaders. Okay, hang on. Grass. Okay. Okay, so Erica is the Gen 2 leader. So I'm thinking of Gardenia, who is Gen 4. Okay, that's who I was thinking of. Gardenia, who is the gym leader in Gen 4. I'm surprised I remember that, because I don't remember going past, like, Rourke in, Gen 4. I have the list of the Gen 4 ones right now, Senate League. When I was growing up. We had Platinum when I was a kid. So, when did that come out? Well, now I have to look up when Gen 4 came out. This is not what the stream's about. Diamond Pearl, Platinum, okay, so Diamond and Pearl specifically came out in 2007 for here. When did Platinum come out? Because we had Platinum. Platinum was 2009. Early 2009. So yeah, I was still a kid then. And then like the next year was when Black and White came out, huh? Fascinating. That's fun. Busky bop wee bop. Although it's a little bit too much orange, so we might need to change the top a bit. Or change that. Oh! I don't hate that. I'm gonna be honest, I don't hate that. Oh, that's actually very nice. We'll keep it with the yellowish orangey color, because that's kind of fun. And then we're gonna get the pants going, like, yeah. It's all coming together. I can't believe I missed Hajime Hinata's birthday. When I say it, it does sound weird. That's usually how I say it in my head, and now I'm saying it out loud and it feels weird, it sounds weird. But that's how I tend to say it. It's not presumably the correct way to say it. It's Hajime, apparently, but I say Hajime because that's how I always pronounced it in my head. And similarly, I pronounce Nagito's name as Nagito instead of Nagito. There's not a hat that really fits with this, huh? I mean, that kind of does, but it's not like the same color. That's the problem. What about you? What about you, glasses? That's fun. I enjoy that. We are way over budget. I just realized we're way over budget. Okay, what do we need to change? What do we need to change? What do we need to change? Okay. If I change the pants. Yes. We're getting there. Okay, but then the shoe's gonna be less expensive too. I have literally $15 to spend on the shoes. That's great. I don't think that that's going to happen. Doing me dirty like this. Okay, if I do that, and then... Do we have any other pants that are uber cloth? Do-do-do-do. We have capris. Oh, and then socks, and then socks, and then socks. Woo. No. 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 Gray sock? Definitely not those. That'll have to do. That'll have to do. We are exactly 80 cents away from the budget. Thank God he wanted contemporary as well. I said she. Excuse me. Maybe one of these days I'll stream in a decent amount of time for everybody, but as it stands, I am someone who, that actually is, one of the things in the stupid personality traits of people who are psychology finds that people who are nice, but have very close friends have these traits, and like, trying to, his name is Cormac. I didn't even notice that. What a name. That's certainly a name for sure. Nearly $2,000. Wow! Now I can see why putting a bit of effort into your outfit is so important. He's wearing it out. Okay. This is miles better than anything I could ever do. Thank you, Junko. You're really good at this. I like how you can help guys as well as girls. I'm definitely coming back here. Bye! I still have not helped Trevor at all. She secretly enjoys watching chick flicks. Shh, don't tell. Yeah, it was one of the traits, I guess it's being a burden. But like, going along with that is like not getting in people's way. Brit. Not Britty, but Brit. Lately I've been obsessed with rock. I've even been studying edgy fashion. Every magazine I've read says that your feet are important in an edgy outfit. They're your foundation, so you should dress them solidly. Come seeing if you have any edgy shoes in stock. Probably. Pretty sure I do. I do. In fact. We have these. Wow, look at those. Boots. I think those ones count as edgy as well, but I could be wrong. Let's take a look in a book. Reading Rainbow. Yeah, I stream at this time partially because it's convenient, but partially also because I don't want to get in. I don't want to step on the toes of anybody else who happens to be streaming that I know. And this is like the best I could come up with time-wise in terms of not being like quote-unquote in the way. So that's fun. That's a trait I have that's definitely bad. Anywho. Black boots. In Minecraft. That's another thing I've been doing. Playing a lot of Minecraft. I've mentioned this before. I've been playing a lot of Minecraft in the past few months. And I've only just now been checking out more stuff from like the copper and like the Mounts of Mayhem is the newest one. And I just found the Nautilus Nautilus. Let's go with Nautilus. They keep showing up at my doorstep because I live. Oftentimes I end up having a base that's just a spawn that's really close to like a sea biome, just up the coast of the sea. So I found a Nautilus, and then I had to fish a lot to get a pufferfish because I didn't want to go too far out at sea because I don't have any map mods installed on that particular one. So it ended up being that the first pufferfish I found let me tame it, so that's fun. I now have that and like 3 dogs. And I'm attempting to figure out how to do base crafting. How to do stuff doesn't look absolutely god-awful and just like everybody's first ever base ever. But I also don't really want too much space because I don't really need that much space. Because I don't play for that long anyways. I don't really often get to the end, so there's that as well. Whoa, these just pull my whole outfit together, huh? You got some real skills. I'm very impressed. I will have to come back here, so be ready for me, okay? Let's see if we can fit one more into the thing. Can we fit one more contest? We'll see. We got about 15 minutes left that I tend to go for 2 hours and about 2 hours only. New cosmetics have been added to the makeup studio. Wow. One of my friends gave me a great deal on something. Stonewashed jacket. Sound good, right? Even got a sample for you. Anyway, you can go and see it for yourself in the stockroom, but you're glad you hired me now. I'm always glad you're here, Danny, but I wish you stopped talking to me so much. Apologies, but that's just how it is. Alright, we'll talk to you first. She actually enjoys haggling over prices in foreign markets. What is wrong with you? Fifi! I'm a great fan of walking. I even went on a hike recently. Nice to get out in the fresh air and see how the seasons turn. It's my favorite thing to do. Oh, I want to move I want to move here so badly. I see. As in moving your feet. I'm in the middle of saving up for it right now. As soon as I have enough money, I'll be moving over here like a shot. Oh, you mean in general. The only problem with saving enough money is that I also really like clothes. Listen, would it be alright to buy something under $90? Could you buy me a base layer and pants I could afford? I can try. Now, from what I'm looking at here... Excuse you? I'm assuming this is sporty, but it could be basic. So we're gonna go with sporty, and hopefully that's what we're looking for. Cause like, yeah, no, that's a sporty topple, right? Would you like the bikini top? I mean, it counts. I know it's not great, but it counts. Yeah, no, you'll buy it. Fair enough. Cool. Glad I got rid of those, because I'm not going to be going into summer anytime soon. Please, for the love of God, do not wear them out. Thank you for not doing that. Or if you are, they're underneath. So she can go swimming anytime she wants. Ooh, nice, you made the perfect selection for me, and within my budget too. I love how you're willing to try to fulfill any request. It's like some kind of dream. Thank you so much. Why does everything have to be expensive? I'm too materialistic for my own good and love shopping, which is a shame because I have to be conscious of my... Hello, Yvonne. Of my spending habits. For sure. Alright. Well, first of all, let's go to the hair salon because I gotta change the hair. To fit with the, what's going on here. Which one is it, actually? This one? That's close. That might be this one, then. Like, they're not quite the same. Might just have to go with this then. Yeah, okay. We are changing the highlights though. Because that looks odd and weird and I don't like it. That's fine, we'll do it. Hooray! Let's take a look at what we got makeup-wise. Why is it day now? It's day already. It's daytime already. Alright, what new stuff do we have? It looks so weird with her seeing her, like, bare-faced. It's, like, disgusting. I don't know why they have, like, the perfume category when it's just the one perfume for each brand, but here we are. Can't wait till we get to the second game where I have to actually change the system clock in order to make sure that I can get all the stuff, because that's how fashion forward works. Jolly lolly. Gilai, Belai, Gumai, Kendai. You know, these really work, unfortunately. None of those are really up my alley for this one here. Pink. Reddish. We'll add that to the cart. It's always fun for me looking at when I'm at a shop or just happen to go into the Ulta Beauty, because that's a thing that we have in my town, to see if they ever have like blue or green lipstick. Not that I wear that, not that I wear any makeup whatsoever, but it's interesting to see, and part of me wants to buy it, but it's also like... Cart. What's in my cart? Purchase that, yeah. Yeah, got it, good. Because I've seen how it looks, and I've seen how JoJo characters look, and it's I don't think it'll be good for me, personally. Don't think it'll look quite right. Could do that. Add that to the cart. Not really a lot of red here. That's what I'm mostly looking for, is red. These are good. That's good. That can work. It's more purplish, reddish purplish. These are also red. We can also knock that out. Volcanic ash. Yeah, add that to the cart. But yeah, we don't change the eye color. Eye color stays the same pretty much, but if I so desired, I could. And then make her look like oh gosh, Ryoko Otanashi. That's her name. Which supposedly the red hair and the red eyes are her natural like eyes and hair color, which is a little bit strange, given that her sister's hair is like her sister's hair is very like whatchamacallit, it's black, which just makes it a little bit weirder is all. Like that's the really weird part, is that her sister's hair is black and her eyes are like bluish. So where did the red and red come from? Where did that come from? Or at the very least, where did the red hair come from? They're twins as well, which is really crazy. Like, it's not as if it's impossible, it's just not as likely as other stuff. Get those. That'll be good. Get the blue as well. To match the eye color. Darkest purple. Prom dress. Is that more? Darkest blue. Prom dress. Okay, so that one's a little bit more navy blue. That one's just regular blue. We'll get both, because I'm worried it might not be... Yeah, okay, the navy blue is gonna match more so. So we can remove that from the cart. Someone is home, and I do not know who. I think it is my dad. Let's get these plushes, because they're fun. And then there's only the one red lipstick here, so... Alright, we will probably not get to another contest this evening. We'll see. I can always skip ahead if I like, but I don't want to do that. And let what happens happen. She's back! When I said see you tomorrow, I guess I really did mean see you tomorrow. She only orders chicken tenders and french fries in restaurants. I used to do that. Let's talk. So very exciting. The Elite Contest is going to be opening its doors very soon. And it's here to stay. I'm so happy. I always wanted to participate in this kind of event ever since I was little. I hate the sadness you feel when a big exciting event like this is over. So it's great that it's open for good. Speaking of passion, I should get some new clothes. I've been having some girly shoes. Do you have any? No! No! I can't get the tone right. Anywho. Yeah, when I was a little kid, I mean, I'm still a picky eater, but I was a very, very picky eater. A lot of kids are, but I pretty much would only get, whatchamacallit, pretty much would only get chicken tenders and french fries when I went to restaurants. Very much so just in the spirit of, these are things that we eat at home, and that things that were easy enough for my mom to cook sometimes, so that was what I ate. Doo-doo-doo-doo. They are bright white, but there's two of them, so I can get another one out of them. Despite the fact that they are the flirty brand. Yawning. Charming. Okay. Marinara. Mariana. That's the kind of skills I was looking for. Are you psychic? You sure are impressive. Love you so much. Not even sure I'll ever take them off. Not even in bed. That's weird. Don't do that. That's weird and you should probably take them off. His cell phone etiquette is in the pits, but he's blissfully unaware. Don't go online, Patrick. Star? Is that why you're wearing pink? Ah yeah, that worker is wearing one of your outfits, right? It has to be. I'd know that unique style anywhere. I wish I could put together such bold-looking clothes. Forgot I may put them in bold style. If you can make me an even bolder outfit, I'll try. I know you can do it. I can't wait to try it on. Hooray! Anywho. Do. My chair's making noises. That's good. I'm pretty sure that wasn't my stomach and that wasn't back my chair. Yeah, I was very picky eater as a kid. I only started branching out like towards the end of elementary school, but like the first, like I remember I have a distinct memory of like, for some reason we had like a salad bowl for one class for one like day in 2nd grade, and like I tried ranch and I was like, I don't like this. I don't want that. And to this day, I've never fully tried anything with ketchup on it. I've accidentally had stuff with ketchup on it, but like, not like as part of a meal. And like I have a weird OCD thing where like I just cannot physically touch a ketchup bottle. I have to use like some sort of napkin or like my clothing to be able to not touch it. Why is it so expensive? Always with the expensive stuff here in the bold lands. Can we just be normal? Is that possible? Can we be normal for once? Can we please be normal? Be normal, be normal. Do. I can't give him a jacket because it's over budget. I mean, yeah, it all fits. It's like all similar style going on here. He needs shoes. This sucks. This is disgusting. Why would you do this to me, game? Wow, those are some shoes. I mean, yeah, they work technically. Why are those more expensive? What's happening here? Let's go camouflaging. Yeah, sure, that's fine. Could you have a bigger budget, please? All of these are so expensive. They're like over $200 each. Man. Yeah, like, I'm very particular about certain things. My brother is a lot more particular about stuff that he eats, for sure. Like, he literally will just not eat vegetables whatsoever. Which is crazy to me. But I've tried branching. Oh wow, they're all sold out, huh? And you're going to wear that out, huh? It's a bit cold out there. Be careful, Patrick. Careful, SpongeBob. Yeah, this is what I imagine. You're incredible. This looks great. I can't wait to see what everyone thinks of this bold look. Thanks for your help today. Bye. Nighttime yet? It's not nighttime yet. Please help me. Help me. Help me. Okay. So I'm a huge fan of a certain local celebrity. God. Melissa. That's my aunt's name. Haha, look what we have here. Here's your chance. 1997. That's the year before I was born. Love 1997, actually. What? Heather. Don't say it out loud. What if she realizes? So the truth is my friend here has something she wants to say. She's always saying that she met a stylish boutique owner. She want to have a conversation with them. And of course, now that her chance finally comes, she's all shy. So sorry about that. I must look hopeless, I'm sorry. Don't misunderstand, please, it's just that you're so stylish. Oh no, if you can find me a pair of shoes, please, I'm sorry. Retro time, retro time, retro time. I believe I remember these exact, like, customers. Just simply based on the outfit. Hang on. Bless me. Baby's tiniest sneezes ever. Since you have a budget, I'm going to give you the more expensive stuff. Or not, because apparently that's not available to me. I mean... Hey. Oh, my nose is extremely stuffed. Why is it so stuffed today? I took the allergy medication and everything. I took my stupid Allegra 24 hours, whatever. You gotta be squidding me. Please don't wear these out because they will definitely clash your outfit. Muted my mic because I had to blow my nose a little bit. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. Like, there's just certain foods that I just don't like whatsoever. Like, I can't have like sweet meat. Like, if you put barbecue sauce on something, it's like I will not eat that. Meat should not be sweet in my opinion. It's a good thing the manager found you something stylish. I know, right? Never would have found something like this. Something this great on my own. It's not nighttime yet! Oh my god! Go to night. Now! Like 15 minutes of time has passed. 15-minute nap? I can buy none of this. Great! So glad I looked at that. What is the message? Message, you stink. A poem I wrote. Shut up. Shut up. Shut up. I don't like you. Goodbye. Stop talking to me, Josh. Why couldn't you just be named Josh and not Joss? Why do you gotta be named something weird? I'm sure that's a perfectly normal name in some sort of, like, culture, but I don't know what. In some sort of language, but not this one. Apologies. Luxury outfit that screams swank. Swank? Swank. Swanky. Is that what you tend to use for that? None of these people seem luxury to me. Be Sierra? Let's go Sierra. The night before a contest, I always eat a cheeseburger. It gives me the energy to rock the runway. Why the night before? The night before, not the night of. Okay. Cool. Go for the glamour. A luxury outfit that screams swank. Alright. Let's do this and then we'll call it quits for the evening. Now I could just cheat and do... Oh, that's not it. Okay, here we are. Luxury. Now I could just do a Teatro Mare outfit, but we're not going to cheat. We're going to do this the old-fashioned way. This streamer still does streams the old-fashioned way. This is a very fun blouse, but it's a little hard to work with this particular skin tone with that color scheme though. Okay. Okay. No, that could work. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. It's cause the black is too black. Do you understand what I'm saying? It's too black. Like, it's not red enough. That's the problem I'm having here. We don't necessarily need the jacket, but then we gotta accessorize up the wazoo, dude. This could work. This could work. Okay. Okay. And that matches the pants. Yes. Oh. Yeah, this is too much for the collar. Long lace gloves. Long lace gloves. Long, long gloves. that the right song? Or am I mixing up that and Rolling Start? I could be mixing it up also with Rolling Start. From one of those, whatever that one video game is. Because I can't pick up the name right now. Yes. Yes, good. Is it enough accessories? If we put the scarf on, it might be... I think that'll be fine. I think that'll be fine. I want to make sure that the hair is shorter, though. Let's make the hair shorter. We can make it that short. That'd be fun. Listen. Here's the thing. She is in fact, I'm going, like, from what I can see, she is in fact black. But, like, this doesn't, we don't have those kind of hairstyles here because we're not in that era of gaming yet. For Nintendo. Like, very much so not in that era of gaming. What? Ooh. Pink? Oh! Oh, that's fun! It's weird. It doesn't quite match with the rest of the outfit, but it's fun. And I like fun. Amazingly, I do enjoy fun. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? There we go, Jade. Why are you gonna have colors that don't match? Why are they all gonna be clashing? I mean, that one actually goes with the skin tone. It was like made for the specific skin tone, so I guess I'll use it. Celebrity glitz. I don't like the green lips. I'm not huge on that. Not a fan. But we'll try our best. Let's see what happens. If we get, excuse me, I accidentally pressed that button. If we get to the end of this, we'll be almost halfway through the Elite Contest, which is good. It'd be a lot faster than usual. I'm not going to be able to buy any of these, actually, because they're supposed to be expensive at the very least. So I'll at least have some bit of expensiveness to them. God dang it, the pants. It's literally just the coat. It's just the coat. And obviously I can't buy any of these. Like, it feels like the game doesn't fully care about the color coordination, but maybe it does. I don't know. Maybe I'm going crazy. I'm gonna lose. Oh my god, thank you. Scooby-Doo, we got the Santa cap. Hooray! One step closer to greatness. Oh my god. Now I'm going to go back to playing Animal Crossing New Leaf on my Nintendo 3DS. Or rather, New Horizons on the Switch, because, I've been doing that. I have in fact actually been playing that update, and I'm trying to get, I have the Big Man amiibo, so I've been trying to get some of the Splatoon stuff. I'll probably start going and looking for the Lego stuff as well. I don't have a Zelda amiibo, or at the very least if I do have a Zelda amiibo, it probably isn't compatible with anything. I don't know if I don't think I do have like a Zelda amiibo, as in Zelda the character from The Legend of Zelda. Because that would be the amiibo that I would have, because she's the one that I've played before in Smash games. Which is how I would have that amiibo in the first place. Must be used to the sweet taste of victory by now. Oy. Fast and Elite. Alright. Let's head back home and save. Thank you, Brad. It is funny how that's like the uniform, but that's also just stuff that you can buy specifically for people. for the male people. The male people, oh my god. Menswear. That's probably what I'm looking for the menswear. So you can just dress them up like, dress somebody up as Brad, the delivery man. Anywho, I will be back next week most likely because I'm going to go shopping at the mall. At a mall that's not here. On Sunday, I think, question mark. That's the plan that my mom has decided. And I don't know what else I'm going to be doing this weekend. Probably other stuff. Yeah, probably other stuff. But next time around, I get to streaming will most likely be more Layton. And then switching on and off between these two games, probably for the most part. I still don't know where my Wii sensor bar is, so my sense is still gone forever. My powdering gone forever. Anyways, that's gonna be it for today. Yeah, I think that about sums it up. It'll be Layton because I can't find the Wii sensor bar. Yeah, I think so. Okay. Bye.